Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm Arif and I welcome you all in today's session. Well, to access the notebook for today's session, you can access course page on my personal website arifbhat.me. You can click the appropriate link under the lecture resource column to view it in Jupyter NB Viewer and can run it online in Binder. The other way to download it is from the course GitHub account RFPUCIT, and here is the public data science repository. Well, this is the Jupyter notebook dashboard running locally on my machine at port 8888, and here is the notebook running locally on my machine. This is lecture number 2.17 of the second module, Basic Python Programming, for the course titled Tools and Techniques for Data Science. Okay, a gentle introduction to regular expressions first. My dear students, in 1951, the famous mathematician Stephen Cole Killeen coined the concept of a regular language that is recognizable by a finite automaton and expressible using a regular expression. Later in 1960s, Ken Thompson used this Killeen's notation to implement pattern matching in the QEDT text editor. Today, regular expressions are used in numerous day-to-day data science tasks like simple pattern matching, in find and replace operations in editors like Microsoft Word, Sublime, Atom, Notepad++, and so on, information extraction, web scraping, text mining. Well, text mining is transforming unstructured text into a structured format to identify meaningful patterns and new insights. And last but not the least, in the domain of natural language processing as well. Well, with this gentle intro about regex or regular expressions, let's move on the agenda of today's session. My dear students, I have divided the regular expression topic in two parts. In part one, that is today's session, we will learn the nitty-gritties of regular expression and in part two, which I will deal later, we will inshallah practically implement them in Python. So today we will make our hands dirty and practically learn to write our own regular expressions by using a free online interactive tool, Regex 101. My dear students, this will be a step-by-step learning in which we will understand and practice different commonly used meta characters, wildcards, escape codes, quantifiers, and grouping constructs that are used in a regular expression language. And after we are done with the basics, we will be proficient enough to write regular expressions that will identify valid phone numbers from documents, and from the extracted phone numbers we may like to separate the city codes or maybe the mobile operator codes. We will be able to identify and group names, ages, addresses, and zip codes from documents, maybe containing hundreds and thousands of addresses, and maybe update some zip codes or addresses by doing a substitution or a replacement operation. We will also learn to write regular expressions that will match valid email addresses and later match the objects separated by the usernames from the email addresses. And similarly, we can identify URLs from documents, and from the extracted URL strings, separate the domain names. Okay, so let's start playing. My dear students, instead of straight away jumping onto Regex 101, let's have a quick overview of some of the important special characters that are used in regular expressions. Well, by special characters or meta characters, I mean that they do not match themselves as seen, rather have specialized meaning when used in a regular expression. I have summarized these in three tables. You may keep these tables with you so that you should not have to memorize them by heart. Uh, and this is the first table. Well, this caret symbol is used when you want your match must exist at the beginning of a string, and it is placed before uh, the string you want to search. And this dollar sign is a symbol that is used when you want your match should exist at the end of the string, and it is placed after the search string. This dot is used to match any single character except the new line. This backslash is used mainly for two purposes. One, to refer to a special character, and the second, to drop the meaning of a special character. We will soon see this in Regex 101 and have a very clear understanding of how these meta characters are used. Well, this straight bracket is used to match a single character out of the set of characters listed inside it. We can have ranges inside it. We can have the caret symbol. When the caret symbol is used before this straight bracket, it matches the listed characters that occur at the beginning of the string. And we can use the caret symbol inside this straight bracket, and when used inside, it means negation. And this straight line symbol work like an OR operator, and it can of course be cascaded. And finally, these parentheses are used to capture groups. So this is the first table. Well, if you want to select more than one characters, you can use quantifiers like asterisk, plus, question mark, and these curly braces, followed by the characters you want to be repeated. I will discuss these quantifiers in detail soon. And finally, these escape codes. These are some of the escape codes I have mentioned over here, most commonly used. This backslash lowercase d is used to match any digit from 0 to 9. And this backslash uppercase d is its negation. And similarly, this backslash s is used to match white spaces. Backslash w is used to match alphanumeric characters, and this backslash b is used to check if the string exists at the boundary. You can use this at both ends of an expression or a search string. Okay, enough of theory. Let's click this link, regex101.com, and move on to this tool and makes our hands dirty by practically doing all this. Excuse me. So this is the interface of Regex 101 tool. For the time being, these are the two text boxes which are of our interest. This upper text box, single line text box, where we are going to write our regular expression, and this multi-line text box where we can write the text from which we want to search or locate the pattern mentioned over here. Let me write some text over here. This is Arif, and Arif is learning regular expressions. Hope this will be informative and fun. Happy learning. Bye from Arif. Okay. Now let's see what's there in this text box. Well, my dear students, since this tool allows us to generate code as well, so better to select the appropriate flavor. For example, if I select PHP, you can note that I have this forward slash in the beginning at the end of this regular expression. And if I select Python, we have this R, and then we have a string delimiter. We can of course change that. Let it be like this. And this R actually means raw string, that this is a raw string. This avoids a backslash plague. More on this later. My dear students, a regular expression can be as simple as some characters in their literal meanings. Let me search RF from here. Okay, so this has not searched anything. Let me search RF with a capital A. So it has given me 3 matches. You can see over here in the green we have 3 matches. Over here in this explanation window, it says RF matches the characters RF literally, and this is case sensitive. In this match information, we have 3 match objects, match 1, 2 and 3, telling me the starting and the ending index where this string is found. And before moving ahead, let me click this right hand of this regex as well to set some options. For the time being, I have enabled the global flag to have multiple matches, and I have also enabled the multi-line as well to have matches in multi-lines. So that is why we have a GM over here. Let me put some text over here. Let me copy some text from here. Let me copy this text from the notebook file, and let me paste this text over here, on which we are going to practice various regular expressions. And let me zoom it a bit so that you can read the contents properly. Right now we are just interested in this text box and this test string text box. Okay, so I think it's okay now. Great. Let us start with the dot meta character, which is used to match any single character except new line. Let me put a dot over here. So you see this has selected all the characters in this test string less this new line character, and you can see we have 198 matches. Let me put 4 dots over here, 2, 3 and 4. So you can note that the 3 characters words are not matched. This cat, mat and bat is not matched. This is the first group that is matched, A, B, C, D. This is the second group, E, F, G, H. This is the third group, and so on. Now what if I want to search for a dot character literally? Like we have to use the escape code. Whenever you want to search for a meta character that has special meanings like dot, and you want to express its special meaning and search it literally, you need to precede that meta character with a backslash. So let me do that. Let me put a backslash and then a dot. Observe only the dots have been selected now. So this is match 1, match 2, match 3 and match 4. The meta characters we have seen over here. We are going to practice all these one by one over here. Let me search for a backslash now. So backslash, you see I have to put 2 backslashes, and it has selected this backslash. So this is again an escape sequence which is going to suppress the special meaning of this meta character. Let me search for a question mark. So question mark has been selected. Let me search for the asterisk symbol, which also has a special meaning. So if I want to search for it, I need to precede it with a backslash. Great. Let's talk about some escape codes that are used to find specific types of patterns in the dataset. And let me first talk about the lowercase d. And this lowercase d is used to match a single digit. You see all the single digits have been matched. The digits have been matched. Let me put a capital D. A capital D uppercase is the negation of lowercase d that match any non-digit character. You can observe all the non-digit characters have been selected. Let me use the lowercase w. This lowercase w match a single alphanumeric character, lower and uppercase alphabets, 0 to 9 digits, and underscores. Note the spaces, new line, dot, colon, and so on, they are not matched. Let me use the capital W, which is of course the negation. Let me use lowercase s. Lowercase s is used to match white space characters like space, carriage return, new line, and tabs. Let me use capital S, which is of course the negation. Let's talk about \b as well, which is an escape code that is used to match if the specified characters are at the beginning or at the end of a word. Let me use \b. And before that, let me search for HA. You see I have 1, 2, and 3 matches. And let me put a \b after it. So now this is saying a boundary. This HA is selected because this is on a boundary. On the right side we have a space, and this is also selected because on the right of it we have a new line. This HA is not selected. Let me put a \b or the boundary character in the beginning. Now we have these two matches. This is not selected because this is not on its left. We don't have other boundary, and we can always put the boundary escape code on both ends, and in this case we have just one match because this has a boundary on the left, not on the right, and this HA has a boundary on the right but not on the left. I hope this makes sense. And naturally uppercase B is its negation. Let me do the uppercase B, and you see here we have one match of HA which do not have a boundary on the left. So this do not have a boundary on the left, that's why this is selected. I think it's enough. Do play around at your own to have a clear understanding. And let me move ahead and talk about two more meta characters, the caret and the dollar. Well, my dear students, the caret symbol when used before an expression or characters specifies that the match must start at the beginning of the string. So let me put a caret over here. So we get a match in the beginning. We don't have a match over here. Let me change ha to, let's suppose, cat. So I have this match, and let me say something this neat. This is not matched anywhere, although it is over here, but since it is not at the beginning of the line, so it's not matched. Similarly, the dollar symbol is used after an expression or a set of characters in order to match only if it occurs at the end of the string. Let me use let me say let me say HA dollar. So you see we have one match which is at the end of the string. Let me say, let's say WXY. So WXY is over here, but it is not at the end of the string. Let me put Z as well. Okay, now this is at the end of the string. Great. I hope this caret and dollar symbols are clear to you. Let me change gear and suppose that now I want to search for phone numbers, and we have some phone numbers over here. You see these are some of the phone numbers. Excuse me. Assume that a valid phone number consists of let's suppose 10 digits in three groups of 3, 3, and 4 digits, and separated by a hyphen and a dot. And of course this hash, let's suppose this hash is not a separator, valid separator, so this is not a valid phone number. Let us write an RE for this. My dear students, we already know that this \D is used to identify a single digit. So I want to identify a pattern which has 3 digits, a dash, then 3 digits, a dash, and then 4 digits. So let me say 3 digits, a dash, and then we have 3 digits and a dash, and then again we have 4 digits. So this is selected. So, but this is not selected. Okay. If I put a dot over here and a dot over here, you see all these are selected. This is also selected, this is also selected, and this is also selected. And the reason of this is that this dot is a special character that matches any character except for line terminators. So we have this false positive as well. This is invalid phone number is also matched. Okay. So let's use a backslash before this. Let me put a backslash before this dot over here and put a backslash over here. Now we have a success. We have successfully selected it. But now we have a false negative. That is, this valid phone number is not being matched now. Actually, what we want is that the separator can either be of the two symbols, the hyphen and the dot. So here we need to use another meta character, and that is a straight bracket, which is used to match a single character out of the characters listed inside it. So let's try this out. Let me put a straight bracket, a dot, excuse me, a hyphen. Let me close it. Let me put a straight bracket, a dot, a hyphen, and let me close it. Excuse me, dear friends. And we have a success. Both the numbers are selected. One more important point that you need to keep in mind that inside this bracket, once you are using this dot, you need not to precede it with a backslash. And the other point is that this dash, if you are using this dash, this must come either at the beginning or at the end inside this straight bracket. Because if you are using it in between, it means something else. And it means range. So let me show you this as well. Let me clear this out and let me say straight bracket A hyphen Z. So this hyphen in this straight bracket means a range that is going to select from A to Z. So this is the first match, second match, third match, and so on. And this H, M, N all are selected. Need not to be A to Z. This can be from, let's suppose, D to F. So it has selected just these three. It can also be from A to Z, so lowercase characters. And we can say capital A to capital Z. So these are also selected. We can say 0 to 9. So the digits are also selected. So anyway, remember the straight bracket is used to match a single character out of all the characters or the ranges of characters that are listed inside it. Okay, so far so good. One more thing, the use of caret symbol. Well, my dear friends, caret symbol when used as the first symbol inside the straight bracket, like let's suppose I do something like this. So this means negation. This means every character less the digit 0 to 9 should be selected, and it is of course selected. And let me play with this a little bit more. Let me say A to Z as well. So now you see the lowercase alphabets are also not selected. Let me put capital A to capital Z. So you see now neither the digits nor the lower or uppercase alphabets are selected. Rather, the special symbols, the spaces, and the new line characters, they are selected. Okay, so let's see another example. Let me say that can anybody tell me that if I want to select this at, so this at is selected, and if I want to select all those words which end with AT but do not have a B before that, how to do that? So that is simple. I put a B over here, but I need to negate it. So we have cat and mat, but we do not have bat. Well, this caret character can also be used before the straight bracket, and when used before the bracket, it matches the listed characters that occur at the beginning of the string. Let me say MIB. So this B is selected, this M is selected, and we don't have I in the beginning. Great. So I hope the use of caret character inside the straight bracket and outside the straight bracket is clear to you. Let's do another example. Consider these strings now. These, let me copy them and bring them up. Let me put them over here so that we can see them. These are the hexadecimal numbers, and a hexadecimal number is normally preceded by 0x in the beginning and followed by hex digits. And there are 17 symbols that can appear in a hex number, digits 0 to 9, and lower or uppercase alphabets from A to F. So these are some of the expected hex digits, and I know that this is not a valid hex number because G is not a hex digit, and of course this is also not a valid hex digit. We want to write an RE that should select or identify the valid hexadecimal numbers. So what we need to do is, we know that it should start with the 0x, fine, and then inside it we have digits from 0 to 9 and alphabet characters from A to F in lowercase as well and in uppercase as well. Great. But this is not selected, and let's assume that this capital X or lower x means the same. So a hexadecimal number can be preceded by a lowercase or a uppercase x. So let me put this as well inside bracket, and now you see we have a success. But well, yes, this is not selected, but over here this is selected. 0x2 is selected. This seems to be working, but we have this case which should not have been selected. So, and one more thing is that only the first digit is being selected. We want the complete number to get selected. So over here we need to use the quantifiers, and let us use the asterisk quantifier. And we have just seen that the asterisk quantifier says that the preceding character or expression can be repeated 0 or more times. So let me put a asterisk over here. So great, now they all are selected. Great. Okay. But this is also selected now, and we should not have selected this. So we need to make a change. If this is invalid, so this should not be selected, so we cannot use this quantifier over here. Let me use a plus over here, and the plus quantifier says 1 or more, while the asterisk quantifier says 0 or more. So we have used the plus quantifier over here, and this is a success. 1 match, 2 match. This is not a match. the third match, and this is also not a match. So we have successfully written a regular expression which is going to select hexadecimal numbers from a document. Great. So this is done. But this is also being matched over here. This is also over there. Yes. We still have a wrinkle to iron. So what is the issue with this? This is still selecting 0x2. Probably we need to use the boundary escape code to handle this. Oh, we need to put a boundary. Let me put a boundary over here, a \b. Note the use of boundary. So this says that we need to have a boundary of this. So when I put a \b over here, this is not selected because this portion 0x2 is not at the boundary. This 0x4ad is at the boundary, 0x349abf is at the boundary. So we have put the boundary symbol at the very right of this regular expression. So this has solved our purpose. Well, my dear students, other than asterisk and the plus quantifier, the question mark symbol is another quantifier which says that the preceding character or expression is optional. That is 0 or 1 occurrence is allowed. For completeness, let me talk about the last quantifier, that is the curly braces having one or two comma separated numbers inside them. Let me use that example as well over here. Let me say that it's A to Z, lowercase. All the lowercase alphabets have been selected, and let me say this over here. So what this is saying, this is a quantifier which says that these previous characters or expressions can repeat exactly 9 times. So we have a match over here, 9 characters, a match over here, 9 characters, and after this from R to Z, this is not a match because we do not have a total of 9 characters over here. And over here again we have 9 characters. Let me make it 10, and you see this match is no more over there. 1 and 2. We have 2 matches now. Let me say 9 comma. This what this says. This says that the previous characters or expression can repeat from 9 to 18 times. So from 9 to 18 times. So this is one match and this is the second match. Let me put just a comma over here, 9 comma. And if you specify a single number followed by a comma, it means it can repeat at least 9 times. And if I keep the comma before that, so this means can repeat at most 5 times. So we have a lot of matches in this case. Let's see the practical implementation of this, and let us again do the selection of the telephone numbers. Let me keep these, let me cut them from here, and the job is done. Let me paste it over here. We have the telephone numbers, and we all know that we wrote \t, 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 and then we have a dot, hyphen, \t, \t, dot and a hyphen, and then again \t. So this was the regular expression that was used to identify the phone numbers. Let me use quantifiers now. So it's very simple. I need to say I need a digit 4 times, exactly 4 times. I need a digit over here as well, and that too exactly 3 times. And I need to have a digit over here as well, and that again exactly 3 times. Yes, So you see the use of quantifiers. Great. So far so good. Okay, let me copy some other dataset to learn some more meta characters. Let me take this dataset now. Some names, Control C. Let me come up over here. Let me select this. Okay, great. So we have certain names over here, and we want to select these names. And let me start with the first character. Every name has a first character as M. So let me write M over here. And after that, the second character can be an R or an S. So let me put the straight bracket R S. So all these are selected. Great. And after that we have an optional S over here. So let me put an S and let me say question mark. That means the character coming before this is optional. So these are also selected and this is also selected now. Great. And after that we have a dot, backslash dot. Okay, so we need to select the dot literally. That's why I have placed a backslash. And after that we have a space. So let me put backslash S. So we have a space. Great. And then the name start with a capital alphabet. And let me say capital A to Z. Great. Capital alphabet is there. And finally we can use the escape code backslash W. And this backslash W is used to match a single alphanumeric character. And to select more, let me use the plus quantifier. Let me put a plus over here. So we have two matches. Great. But this is not selecting this Mr. B. So better to use a asterisk operator, 0 or more. So this has selected B as well. But still we have an issue, that is this Mr. Khurram, that is without a dot, that is not selected. And this Miss Aqsa, which also do not have a dot, is not selected. So I have to make this dot optional. So I need to put a question mark over here. Great. So we have all the names selected. So I hope this makes sense. I have gone step by step to make you very clear about the use of these different escape codes and meta characters. Let's do another example and identify some email addresses this time. And let me again copy the data from here. And this I have written some email addresses. Let me copy this string over here. So these are some of the valid email addresses and these are the list of some invalid email addresses. Okay. Well, my dear students, a valid email address is composed of two parts, a username and a domain name. And the top level domain can of course further have subdomains. If we consider this list, a valid username can have lowercase and uppercase alphabets, digits as well from 0 to 9, an underscore as well in the name, a percentage sign, and a hyphen as well. So let's try writing a regular expression that is going to select these valid email addresses. Okay, first of all, let's talk about this a username. And of course, a username can have lowercase alphabets, uppercase alphabets, digits from 0 to 9, and underscore, maybe a dot, a plus, a percentage, and of course a hyphen. I think I have covered more or less all the possible characters that can come inside the username. So let me put a plus, that means at least one or more. So these are selected. Great. Then we have subdomain, and a subdomain can have lowercase alphabets, uppercase alphabets, digits from 0 to 9, and a hyphen, and one or more. Great. So this is done. Finally, we have the top level domain, and for the top level domain again we have lowercase alphabets, uppercase alphabets, digits from 0 to 9, a dot, a hyphen, and they can always come one or more. Great. So all are selected, but we have some false negatives as well, and to remove them I think we can use the dot, because they do not have a dot over here. So let me put a dot over here, backslash dot. Great. So we have successfully selected all the valid email addresses, and this is the regular expression. Right, my dear students, I strongly recommend that you should do make practice of selecting different email addresses. This is just a start. Let me select this, some URLs. Let me paste them over here. Okay, and now what I want is that I need to select these URLs. And we all know that a uniform resource locator is the address of a specific resource on the internet. It can of course be very complex, but for the time being I am keeping it simple. In the beginning we have the protocol, which can be HTTP or HTTPS. We can have this optional www dot before the domain name. Then we can have a group of characters that make up our domain name, followed by the TLD, top level domain. So let's write the regular expression for this. So we have HTTP, and then we have S, which is optional, so we put the question mark after that. Great. And then of course this colon, and these are there, and this www is optional, so let me put it in bracket, www backslash dot. So this is optional, so this is selected. Great. And then I have some alphanumeric characters, so let me put a backslash w with a plus sign, one or more, and then again we have a dot, backslash dot, and then finally again we have alphanumeric characters. Let me use backslash w again, and let me put a plus quantifier, and they all are selected. My dear students, note that we have 5 matches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have 5 matches. In case of match 1, we have a group 0, which is representing the entire URL. We have a group 1, which contains this www. We have, and that is it. Over here we just have group 0, over here we just have group 0, and over here we have group 0 containing the entire URL. Then we have this group. So that means that this bracket is making a group. So let me put a bracket over here as well. Okay, and let me put a bracket over here as well. And now see, this is the group 1, the first match. Let me do it a bit this. So this is group match 1, and in match 1 group 0 is the entire URL. Then we have this group 1, group 2, and group 3, which contains the top level domain. Similarly over here as well, this is the match object 2. Group 0 covers the entire URL. This is group 2 RFPUT, and this is the top level domain in group 3. My dear students, let me quickly tell you one more thing. In this left pane under this function, we can click this substitution. Let me click this. And you now see a substitution text box over here, and a read-only output as well. You can use the concept of a back reference over here. For example, a \2 will give you group 2 from all the matches. And if I say \3, it will give you the top level domain. If I say \1, 0, 2, and let me say \3 as well. So now this gives you the domain name followed by the TLD. My dear students, this session has gone a bit long. I was planning that I should cover all these things inside Python as well. But inshallah, I will cover that Python part, doing all these regular expressions inside the Python part, inshallah, in the next session. For the time being, I have given you a basic overview of the regular expressions, their meta characters, their quantifiers and escape codes. So inshallah ta'ala, I will see you in the next lecture with the regular expressions using Python. I hope today's session was informative for you all. If you have liked it, please subscribe my YouTube channel and share it with your friends. I wish you all the best, happy learning, and Allah Hafiz.